first of all, we'd like to say I'm sorry that this took so long to bring out because I had the weirdest time with these two units. And yes, we're doing 2 units in today's how to build for Dokkan Battle. And they are virtually the same and at the same time, not the same at all whatsoever. So, before we really dive into both of these 2 new free-to-play units, if you're new to the channel, my name is Joe Saiyan. I'm a Saiyan bald man. I make Dokkan Battle and Gekishin Squadra content, and primarily Dragon Ball content is the goal. So, if you want to go on this adventure with me, go ahead and get the power pole out and extend it to make sure you can hit all 3 of the like, subscribe, and hype button at the same exact time. And then, yeah, do a fancy move and pop your power pole back into its sheath. And let's just get into it. So, we're going to start off with Panzy, and then we're going to go over Glorio. And we're just going to essentially go over both of the units' breakdowns, both of the units' defenses, build suggestions, and then roll tips together at once on each of them. Because, well, as you'll find out, they are basically the same unit, but also counterparts. So, let's just go over Panzy first. And yes, that is her name, Panzy. Masked Majin Panzy. I'm not sure why they chose the masked version. I'm a little disappointed by that, but also gives me a little tiny itty bitty little bit of hope that we could potentially see at the very least, a banner unit of the unit in the future. Alright, so her team options are gonna look like there's quite a few options in there, in all honesty, but really there's not. Truthfully, you only have 2, 3, or 4 options at best. As far as 220 options go, you only have the physical Glorio and the new tech mini Super Saiyan 4 Goku Daima. There is the youth leader Gohan, but he's virtually unusable with Panzy, and we'll get into why in just a second. Now, her leader skill is Dragon Ball Seeker's Ki +2 and HP attack and defense 50%, blah, blah, blah. It's a crappy leader skill. A super attack is Wasabi Bomb. Greatly raises defense for 1 turn, lowers the enemy's attack and defense. Great chance, which is a 70% chance of sealing the super attack, 50% chance of stunning the enemy. This is a great super attack. It is fantastic. I love it. I don't like it's the chance, but, you know, 50-50 chance to stun and 70% chance to seal is fantastic. Now, when 4 or more superclass allies are on the team, attack and defense at 200%, chance of evading enemies' attack by 20%, and all allies' defense of 20%. Now, when 4 or more Dragon Ball Seeker category allies are on the team, attack and defense at 200%, and chance of evading enemies' attack by 25%, and all allies' Ki +1 and defense of 25%. So already off the bat, we have a 45% chance to dodge, we have 400% attack and defense, and then all allies are getting Ki +1 and defense of 45%, just for being all 4 superclass on the team, and then 4 Dragon Ball Seekers. Now, when 4 or more are demonic powered category allies on the team as well, you get another attack and defense of 200%, another chance of evading attacks by 25%, and another boost of all allies Ki +1 and defense of 25%. And when there is an ally whose name includes Daima or Glorio attacking in the same turn, launches an additional super attack, another 10% chance to dodge, another attack plus 200%, and a 70% chance of performing a crit when the target enemy is in lowered attack, defense, stun, or sealed status. And when 12 Ki or more, another attack and defense of 200%. So, yes, she actually has a decent level of damage. She has a decent defense. She has, what, 10, 35, 60, 70, 80% chance to dodge when you have activated 4 or more Super Dragon Ball, 4 Dragon Ball Seekers, and 4 Demonic Power are on the team. Now, the only irritating thing here is that with this level of restriction, you essentially do not have many options as far as a quote-unquote team goes. And what I've been doing these last couple days is trying to find team options for both of these units. And in my research of this, I honestly didn't find too many options, unfortunately. There's some kind of force things you can do, of course, but not too much. But anyways. Alright, so with Link skills, she only has Courage, the Innocence, Brainiacs, More Than Meets the Eye, Battlefield Diva, Master of Magic, and Shattering the Limit. Now, unfortunately, these aren't the most impressive Links. In fact, I would go as far as to say that more than likely you will almost have none of these activated aside from maybe by chance Shattering the Limit, Master of Magic, or Brainiacs at best. More than likely Innocence, Courage, More Than Meets the Eye, and especially Battlefield Diva will probably more than likely never be activated for her in pretty much her entire time in this game. I mean, maybe More Than Meets the Eye. Let's see what kind of Link partners we have More Than Meets the Eye. Yeah, probably not, unfortunately. Because unfortunately, this is just the way the unit is built. She has to be with other Daima units, she has to be with other Demonic Power, she has to be with Dragon Ball Seekers, and she has to be with 4 or more superclass allies on the team in order to actually benefit from using her at a minimum, in my personal opinion. And with only being on 4 categories, being Seekers, Youth, Battle of Wits, and Demonic Power, she really is pretty bottlenecked. And her Link partners are essentially all like Battlefield Diva-esque units and more Youth kind of category Battlefield Diva units. But she's not going to be on like any type of Peppy Gal team because she's a Youth category unit. And I mean, look at all these options here. The only one that actually fits every one of her restrictions is going to be Glorio. It's going to be the STR or the physical Glorio, and that is it. That's the only thing. Otherwise, it's just a whole crapshoot of just pure free-to-play units, and that's what she is. She's a free-to-play unit. She's a free-to-play unit that has options because she has 80% dodge. 80% dodge can go far. It's a very, very good percentage to be rocking in current content. 80% dodge is fantastic. We love 80% dodge. 70% we give a side eye to, but give a full dodge to half the time. But at 80% dodge with full dodge build, she can be pretty dang useful. And the fact of this super attack makes me super happy as well because it gives you every bit of a support class. It gives you sealing, it gives you stunning, it gives you lowering of attack and defense, all while also supporting all allies on the rotation by 70% on defense specifically. That is just crazy to me. I love this free-to-play Panzy unit. She's great. She's fantastic. She's exactly what I wanted. And now to go on to the part that I don't like. Now, I'm not even kidding you. The only reason this took this long to put out this video is purely because of this guy right here. This guy literally just made everything more difficult. And it's mostly because he's pure RNG, he's a jack of all trades, and he doesn't really do much else. And yes, he is a free-to-play unit, but when he's literally released side by side with Panzy and having the exact same restrictions, I expected much, much more. And I did not get that, unfortunately. So let's just get on with his kit. Now, his options are a little bit different because he's going to be kind of like a Battle of Wits kind of character. But he's going to have the same exact restrictions as Panzy. So you need to have him on a super team. Or at least a team that has 4 superclass allies. They have to be 4 Demonic Power. And they have to be 4 Dragon Ball Seekers. And at least one of them on rotation with him needs to be a Daima unit or a Panzy unit. And unfortunately, that only leaves so many leaders. So you essentially only have Daima Gokus, or you have Physical Glorio. And that's pretty much it. That's all that you can probably muster to make sure you get off all of the restrictions. The other thing I hate about this guy, unfortunately, because I like Glorio as a character, so this is like really insulting for me a little bit, because I love Glorio. Physical Glorio is like still one of my favorite units of the year of 2025. Technically 2025. But what is this? Why does he only get greatly raising attack and defense, while Panzy has all of this? Like, seriously. Why does she get greatly raised defense but lowers the enemy's attack and defense? Great chance of sealing. 50% chance to stun. And this sucker just gets greatly raised attack and defense. What the heck is up with that? Who on the dev team hates Glorio? We need to have a talk. Because we about to 1v1, man. We about to 1v1. Anyways, his passive is when 4 or more superclass allies are on the team, attack and defense 200%. Chance of evading enemies' attack and damage reduction rate of 10%. All allies attack plus 20%. When there's 4 or more Dragon Ball Secret category allies, attack and defense 200%, and chance of evading enemies' attack and damage reduction rate of 15%, and all allies keep plus 1 attack plus 25%. Now, when 4 or more demonic power category allies are on the team, attack and defense of 200%, and chance of evading enemies' attack by and damage reduction rate of 15%, and all allies keep plus 1 attack plus 25%. And when there's a Daimyo or a Panzy unit, launch an additional super attack, chance of evading enemies' attack and damage reduction rate of 10%, and then attack plus 200% and 50% chance of performing a critical hit when the target enemy's HP falling stat is 70% or less, and when attacking with 12 or more key, attack plus 200%, and defense 200%. Now, let's break it down a little bit. So we got 10% dodge and damage reduction. We got 15 dodge and damage reduction, and we got 15 dodge and damage reduction. So that adds up to 40% damage reduction and dodge. And then we get another 10 down here. So that means that he only has 50% damage reduction. He only has 50% dodge chance in total. Let's look at his support. All allies attack plus 20%. All allies keep plus 1 attack 25. All allies keep plus 1 attack plus 25. So at least he is supporting allies by attack of 70%, which is pretty much in line with exactly what she does, except the opposite of going to the defense margin. So she's supporting all allies by 70% on defense, and he is supporting all allies by 70% on attack. The problem with the kit is that they mixed damage reduction in there along with his dodge chance. I would have rather lost the entirety of the damage reduction and just thrown in the rest into dodge. If he was another, even if it was only 70% 70% dodge chance. If it was 70% dodge chance, I'd be happy. I'd be fine. But 50, essentially what it means is you have a 50-50 shot every time an attack comes at Glorio to live or die. It's just not okay. And I mean, this guy can. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna give him credit where credit is due. This is a unit that has his initial super attack, and then he has a free super attack right here. And then if you focus additional on him, then he can potentially triple super. This is a free-to-play unit that does have the ability to hit upwards up into the 20 million range. So for a free-to-play unit to be able to do a triple super at 20 plus million damage, I honestly think that's very good. For a free-to-play unit, yes, he can do some decent damage, but his damage is not outweighing how low his defense is, but we'll get into the defense numbers in just a sec. Now, his link skills are Brainiac, Solid Support, Cold Judgment, Speedy Retribution, Shocking Speed, Master of Magic, and Shattering Limit. Now, just like Panzy, a lot of these links are never going to go off for you, unfortunately. I mean, every now and again, you'll get Cold Judgment and Solid Support, maybe Brainiacs with the physical Piccolo banner unit. If you did manage to pull him, he'll be fantastic next to him. And maybe you'll be lucky to have Master of Magic with Panzy on rotation. I think a magical rotation of showing Glorio off in his best light entirely possible is Panzy slot 1 and hopefully Dodge or Die tank in slot 1 for her. Put Glorio in slot 2 and then have physical Piccolo banner, mini Piccolo banner unit in slot 3 with another 70% support. You're essentially getting just an insane level of support for him that adds up being insane, along with the fact of mini Super Saiyan 4 off-rotational support. So on that track specifically, you can get to a very good, respectable amount of decent damage for a free-to-play unit. But just to try and emphasize more of what my concerns are for each of these units, let's just go take a look at the defense numbers. Now, these defense numbers are going to be complements of Blood Raven again. So for Panzy specifically, all ally buffs, with 50% support, Super Saiyan 4 Goku off-rotational support here. If she manages to do her double super for free, I mean, you'll get to 2 million defense. Not bad. Not bad for, a dodge or die free-to-play unit. And then 2.7 if she triple supers. Not terrible. In all honesty, this can go up even a little bit higher because of, support from like Piccolo and some other units. So I do think this has room to grow a little bit. Not a lot, though. But regardless, she has 80% dodge chance. So, I mean, that's fantastic. And honestly, as long as she's tanking the normals, which a majority-ish she should be able to, aside from a couple fights where, their attack is just absolutely blasted and it goes up to 3 million on normals. I mean, as long as you're okay with a dodge or die unit, you should be fine in current content with a free-to-play unit like Panzy. She's fine. Now with Glorio, though, he has similar defense, and that's not okay. That's not okay because he can still only triple super, and he has a lower defense margin than she does. And this comes down to a stats issue. It comes down to a stat. I'm pretty sure it's a stat issue. Let's go look at her stats right here. Her maximum defense stat is 7,230, whereas his is 6,780. Now, that doesn't look like a lot now, does it? It doesn't seem like a lot. It's what, a 500k defense? Like, it's really, really low amount of defense difference. So, by all means, technically speaking, I think that is the only difference in their kits, too. Because she gets 200, 200, 200, and 200, but then she also gets her support right here. She gets all of her own 70% support. Now, you go to Glorio, he has 200, 200, 200, and 200. So they have the exact same amount of defense markers, they have the same restrictions, and they both greatly raise defense on their super. But the only actual difference, other than their links, of course, is straight up just this right here. It's their natural defense. His natural defense is so low that it just drops his defense well below hers. And it makes it really, really unfortunate. Like, this is pretty insane to me. Like, on their free additionals, she has 2.1, where he only has 1.8. That's a 300k difference on defense alone. And then on the triple super, if they triple, she's at 2.3, or he's at 2.7, she's at 2.7, Panzy's at 2.7, and he's at 2.3. That's a 500k difference just for 500k, just for 500 defense, 500 at all. So, I mean, if you want to try and offset him, you can give him a level 5 defense orb or level 6 7 if you have it, and that'll probably round off his defense to be around hers, roughly. And then if you actually manage to get some of his links off, like next to the physical Banner Piccolo unit, you could potentially, on a triple super, get his defense to above 3 million plus, which is fine and dandy because he has 50% damage reduction, which means that he can tank a 6 million super, but that's it. It's only on a 6 million super. Anything above a 6 million super and he's just cooked. And with only 50% damage reduction, in a meta where we're taking 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 million damage, it's just not enough. It's really not. Now, don't get me wrong, and I apologize for all this rambling and whatnot, but when you introduce a unit that is defensively viable enough to go into the current content with 80% dodge chance, and then you throw in the same unit next to her that just has 50% damage reduction but cannot actually survive in the current content, it's just a slap in the face, kind of. It's like, hey, you can have this 80% dodge unit, but you're also going to get this lesser one next to them. And I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way because I feel like Glorio is a lot more hype than Panzy. in a lot of degrees. And I get it, we have a physical Glorio, which is immensely better, obviously, and that just equates to this guy being fodder, essentially, for a super attack. But I really wanted more. I really did, because it's Daima, and we don't get a lot of Daima content, and we're not going to a lot after we get adult Vegeta and Goku Daima units. After that, it's hard to say how much Daima content we really will get, so I really wanted these guys to be decent. She's fine. He's not. For a free-to-play unit, sure, he's fine. But otherwise, I really wanted to try and find a place for him, and I couldn't, and I'm disappointed a little bit. Overall, he's still a good free-to-play unit, especially for a Daima-centered team, which is fine. But anyways, I apologize. I'm rambling excessively. I apologize. Sumimasen. Now let's just move on. We're going to go ahead and move on to their actual build suggestions now. Glorio is going to have quite a few options here, as I'm just going to go through him first. I have essentially a full dodge build, a full additional build, or kind of a mixture of the two. So the only thing I want to point out on the mixture build is that I did throw an attack orb for him. He screams to me as a free-to-play-esque unit, or a unit that's going to be utilized in some form of a kind of Daima-centered area where you can lower attack and defense, and I think he can be used in certain situations. Like I said, he actually does have some pretty respectable damage if he gets a triple super off. So essentially getting his hidden potential to proc and get that third super attack in, you can pretty much almost guarantee 60 to 70 million damage out of him. But it's really going to depend on the enemy's status, because if you go look, this is where his damage is really hindering on right here, is this part right here. The attack 200% and 50% chance for a critical hit when target enemy is in the following status of HP or 70% or less. Essentially, once the enemy hits 70% or less HP, he starts doing a lot more damage, and he feels a lot better. With an attack orb pushing it a little bit higher up, you can feel like you're going to be hitting somewhere close to almost 25 million. Almost. I don't think you will. It'll be short of full rainbowed stats, and a perfect synergy of a perfect rotation and off-rotational support. I don't think you will, but I do think he can see some respectable damage for a free-to-play unit. Otherwise, you can replace this with a defense orb and kind of fill the gap of defense between him and Panzy, of course. This kind of build right here isn't really for meta-esque content, it's more for everything, and it's more just to give him something to do. He does need to dodge, because he's dodge or die on pretty much supers in general, but he also wants to do additionals and do a little bit of damage while he's there. So this is that mixture build. I don't normally do this for free-to-play units because I don't feel like they require it. Otherwise, overall in free-to-play content, this is just the way you should go about it. You should just go full additional with him, use him in only free-to-play stuff on a Daima team centered, so that you can activate everything, and he'll probably wipe out quite a few things on a free-to-play-esque level. But otherwise, if you really want to be super, super duper daring and take him into current level content, then you really don't have much of a choice but to just give him full dodge and pray to RNGesus. Like, seriously, just pray to RNGesus if you're just going to do this, because it's the best thing you can do. And don't get me wrong, I've seen a lot of people saying that he's doing well, but that's just RNG, man. You just got blessed by RNG. That's pretty much all it is. So, but yeah, no matter what, no crit needs to be applied to him. He's got 50% chance crit on when the enemy is 70% or below. He's an STR unit. He's got a natural 10% in the hidden potential already, so that's 60% on average. That's perfectly fine for a free-to-play unit. Full dodge, natural level 15, with all equips spammed to dodge at level 5 gold, level 5 silver, and level 2 bronze all being dodge. You can pump that to 27 dodge. You either go dodge or you go additional and choose what kind of content you're going to take him into. Personally, I'm going to make 2 copies, one that's a full dodge Glorio, and then I'm going to make a second one that's going to be kind of this mixture build for myself and my own areas of content that I take units into. Now moving on from Glorio, let's go to Panzy here, where she actually also has 2 builds, and it's purely because of her super attack. Her super attack just does so much all in one that I can't help but feel like I want 2 copies of her so that I can spam her additional and take advantage of the fact that on, you know, her full team passive activation, she's at 80% dodge chance. I want to take advantage of the fact that she can potentially triple super with lowering the enemy's attack and defense, stunning and sealing. Like if she finished off an opponent where there's multiple enemies, then she can seal and stun and lower their attack and defense aggressively. I mean, there's a lot of situations where you can just take advantage of her super attack in general. So I feel like a full additional copy would be nice to have, though I wouldn't necessarily suggest wasting any good orbs on her necessarily. I'm just putting in the maximum amount. But overall, she's just a dodge or die free-to-play unit, and you should just honestly give her full dodge if you're just going to have 1 copy. Give her full dodge, that's her purpose. She's a dodge tank. Just go with that. So full dodge, she is an intelligence unit, so she starts off with level 5, so that means her natural dodge can get to a level 20 with a level 5 gold and silver dodge, and then a level 2 dodge bronze. You can get her dodge to a 32% chance to dodge, and then put the remaining amount into a additional at level 6. Now, actually, that's pretty much it for the build suggestions. They're pretty straightforward, thankfully. Otherwise, let's just go on to the roll tips. So roll tips for Glorio are going to be pretty much the exact same as Panzy. They're both going to be support units 100% of the time. They are both going to just straight up be that. There is no difference between the two. They are both just support units. As far as their leaders go, you really do only have the 2 options. You have the option of the mini Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and then you have physical Glorio. For specifically Glorio, you can run him under the intelligence Daima Goku, but it will only be under 170, I believe. Actually, his might actually be 220. Let's check. Actually, no, he might be 220, actually. He might be 220 on Daima Goku's. My only issue with running Daima Goku is that he's kind of just... He's super dodge or die now. His off-rotational sport is godlike, but at the end of the day, this guy is very much dodge or die heavy at this point in time in the game's life cycle. He can barely tank normals, and he definitely cannot tank a super in today's current level of content. So if you do run this guy as leader, just make sure you're not running a friend leader with him, and you make sure that your friend is actually a mini Super Saiyan 4 instead. So just be very wary of that. He is pretty touchy. But anyways, Panzy doesn't have that same option, but she's also just dodge or die anyways, so you could very well still lead under there and be fine. Now, partner-wise, for Glorio, it's going to be the exact same as Panzy, because their restrictions are so heavy under to the point of being 4 super, 4 seekers, 4 demonic power, that you essentially need to force yourself into a full seekers or demonic power misc category team, which is essentially all just Daima units. Not including these 4, there's pretty much, this is it. Like, if you really wanted to try and make space and put 1 more unit onto the team aside from them, I mean, that's all the room you really got, because you got in tech Super Saiyan 4 Daima, you got Panzy, that's 2, physical Glorio, that's 3, and then you have mini Piccolo, which is 4. You have 2 slots left on the team. If you really want to run Glorio, 2 Glorios on the team, that's 5, and then you only have 1 remainder slot left over. If for whatever reason you don't have the physical Glorio or the Piccolo, then that means you need to make sure the last 2 slots are a Seeker and a Demonic Power, because you need to make sure that all 4, there is 4 Superclass, there is 4 Seekers, and there's 4 Demonic Power. There's very few Seeker and Demonic Power units. So be very wary of that. Getting the mixture of these 2 to make a full team is very rough. This restriction is what actually really makes this Glorio worse for me because he is such a heavily restricted team. But when you look at Panzy, who can literally just be a 80% dodge unit just thrown onto the team, I mean, she's mostly fine. I mean, she still has the same restrictions, so she still has half the same amount of characters, but she's just so much safer than the STR Glorio that it's just night and day almost, it feels. But yes, on her side, the only difference on her side is obviously having Glorio for a partner because he's one of the few units that can actually activate her links. And then best slot position for her is going to be just slot 3. Or she can actually, if you're daring enough, you can put her in slot 1. She's 80% dodge chance. 80% is very good. If you want to roll the dice at 80% plus whatever you have in your hit potential, by all means throw her in there. That's your choice, but you will die if you get hit with a normal before she gets to super attack, and you will die if a super hits you. So just be very wary of if you put her in slot 1, because this team does have a slot 1 issue. The Diama team does have a slot 1 issue because Mini Super Saiyan 4 is not a slot 1 unit. Glorio is not a physical Glorio is not a slot 1 unit. Physical Mini Piccolo technically can go into slot 1 on turn 1, but after that he's a slot 3 floater. So yeah, I mean, this team has a slot 1 issue, and she can technically go into slot 1 if you so choose. Man, I'm honestly a little wiped out from this. Like, I'm a little wiped out. But anyways, Glorio unfortunately just needs to be floated off. He either needs to be floated off or he needs to be placed into a position where he is safest. So it's either slot 2 or slot 3. Unless you're just not taking a super attack or you're not taking any attacks in slot 1, he pretty much just needs to be in the safest positioning possible in order to make sure that he just doesn't die in general. He's safest just to float off, in all honesty. If you floated both the Glorios and then you floated Panzy, or you put Panzy in slot 1 and float the Glorios and Piccolo, that would essentially fill up your slot 3 position in total. So okay, that's it. That's it. That's it. I wasted a good 30 minutes on these guys, and I apologize because a lot of this was rambling, like pure rambling, and I have to apologize and thank you for like just chilling to the end of this point. So if you made it all the way to the end of this, I greatly appreciate you, and thank you for watching. Please do let me know what the best like situation you've had Glorio in. It like, has he done some good damage for you? Has he clutch dodged even though he's only got 50% chance to dodge? Let me know how your runs go with him, and let me know how good or how well you've managed to run Panzy in slot 1 at an 80% dodge chance. Do you like these free-to-play units? Let me know your thoughts down below. Anyways, thank you for sitting with this mindless yammering on of a old Saiyan bald man. And I hope you all have a good day and a good night.